And so you mentioned going from changing those positions there, versatility in the NFL, because you're not that far removed from your playing days. But I remember at the time, because you switched from the off season coming into the next year when they switched you. But it seems like that type of versatility, specifically at the linebacker, edge rusher kind of role, has been accentuated even more in the NFL. Did that
Yeah.
feel comfortable for you to do that? And do you think almost, hey, you would have thrived even more if it was now, if you had that be a part of expectations all the way through your career?
Oh, hell no, it wasn't comfortable.
If I recall correctly, I remember it being some difficulties for Mathias to say, okay, you want me to do what now? Throw on 15, 20 pounds here and just switch it up?
Listen. I just did an interview and I told people I was in a 4 technique over Flozell Adams, and then they asked me to cover Deshaun Jackson one-on-one. You're not supposed to be able to do both of those things in real life, So I struggled with it really, really badly. If my son was in that position, I would tell him not to make that switch that late in your career. Now, if you're making that switch at the high school level or a college level, that's fine. I was able to drop into coverage and had an understanding, a grasp of what the defense was trying to do. But getting your body physically to react to something that people have been training their entire lives to do, like I was a defensive end. You go that way. Like there's no this way. If you're going this way, you're wrong as a defensive lineman. You go that way. Your body is trained when that ball snaps to go forward. So as a linebacker, and they're telling you, settle your feet, calm down, give it a second. It never registered for me. It never made sense. The ball snapped. Why am I not moving? So there were a lot of challenges, but at the end of the day, that's what was asked of me in the defense. And there were guys, not just me. I mean, I was a first round pick, so everybody kind of paid attention to it. There were other guys who were playing out of position. They were doing it so that we could win this game. David Deal was an offensive lineman. I mean, he had, contract incentives, into the millions, to play a certain position, and he moved positions so that we could win. And you just don't get that on every team. Everybody was bought in, everybody sold, bought into the opportunity and what was in front of us. And I was one of those players who did that. Yeah, your name, I was more visible, and you could see my big ass out there, like standing behind a guy who's smaller than me playing a position. We used to laugh, like when we'd have some guys like Dave Tollefson and Tuck, and like, I'm a linebacker. I'm bigger than the defensive lineman that I'm, So, but no, it was for the betterment of the team, and we won a championship. And I was just one of the guys who was asked to do that.
Mathias, looking at the current roster and the way the Giants are constructed, obviously in the offseason, they moved over to have Patrick Graham as defensive coordinator. Similar shifts in the changes that you had to deal with Spagnuolo moving on to become a head coach, whole new scheme. Can you talk about what that's like for the guys on the current roster? You go from a 4-3 to a 3-4, all those changes you talked about, like you want me to card Deshaun and Flozell, like talk me through how that would work for the, guys like Lorenzo Carter or Kyler Fackrell that are on the Giants today.
The first thing every new coordinator comes in and says is, all right, calm down, guys. There's not going to be a whole lot of changes. Second thing he does is change everything we're doing. So there's a big learning curve. Yeah, you're going to keep some of the principles. Maybe some of the terminology might be the same, but the philosophy is very different. Spags was an arrow through snow guy. Like that was his saying, arrows through snow. Everybody run to the ball. If you're going to make a mistake, make that mistake at full speed. We'll correct it on the sidelines. And then you have other guys who were like, the expectation is that this position is going to cover this role, this place on the field, and you would better be standing within 2 yards of where I put you. There's just different ways to look at it. And I think the hardest part is getting everybody on the same page. We won that first championship. We played a lot of cover two. We played a lot of basic defenses. And what we had was leadership up front and at the back level to understand what was going on. So when a call came in from the sideline, it went straight to AP, but they're also doing signals, or we knew what we should be doing on this down and distance or on this part of the field. But if AP called us off, that's it. There was no question. There was no discussion. It's just, yeah, maybe I saw the call from the sidelines, but I saw what AP's doing. We're doing that. We were all on the same page every single time. And when you have that confidence in yourself as a middle linebacker, as the coach on the field, then everybody else around you can play that same way and play as confidently. We can come to the sidelines and they can ask us, why didn't you take that B gap? Well, I got a call. Okay, then he's going to go straight there. As opposed to, why didn't you take that B gap? Oh, well, I changed the call. No, nobody changed the call. I'm the only one who changed. Like, you start hearing that kind of stuff, it's over. That ship has sailed. You guys need to go back, go back to the training table and get something to eat and wash off and try again next week, because it's not going to work out for you. So I think that's the biggest thing. Schemes and everything. These are smart individuals as coordinators. They can put together a scheme that is supposed to win. Can everybody accomplish it? Can everybody do their job in the defense? Do you guys have the faith in the system to believe in it? If I'm a linebacker and I'm standing behind a defensive end and he's supposed to take that B gap, and I'm not sure if he's going to take it, now I'm a step behind the ball. Now, whatever gap I was supposed to be in is wide open for an extra second. If I know for facts he's going to take it, I take off right away. As soon as that ball is snapped, I'm going to the gap that he's standing in, and I know he's not going to be there. When you start seeing guys running into each other or bitching and complaining and this and that, that's when you realize, I look to the sidelines and I say, there's a breakdown somewhere, and it's usually on that sideline.